Hi there, and welcome to Limitless, the space where your big dreams meet grounded energy and mastering manifestation becomes your new normal. I'm Alyssa Simpson, mindset and manifestation coach, your unorthodox free spirit, and now your newfound permission slip to do life your way. Here, we break the rules by ditching societal norms of the hustle and grind. We embrace flow, alignment, and the bold decision to follow what lights you the fuck up. In each episode, I'll be sharing soul downloads, mindset shifts, energetic upgrades, and raw, authentic stories to help you unlock your magnetism, collapse timelines, and create a life that feels as good as it looks. So if you're ready to remember who you are, trust your desires, embody your highest self, and manifest from your authentic power, it's time to sit back, relax, and get ready to become limitless. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Limitlyss. I have some fun things for you. Obviously, I do. There's always so much fun stuff happening in my world because that is just my baseline. That is my reality. And because I am soy tapped in to you all and what it is that you need and desire and are asking for, there are still spots open inside of Restfully Rich for 1 week only. We have 1 week where you can still hop in and join the Restful Rich lifestyle, the movement, the new identity. And here's the thing though, this is only going to be available to hop into this round of Restfully Rich for 1 more week. After that, prices go up. It becomes a little bit more of an more intimate container. So now is the time to get in, if I'm being so for real. We already have women inside. They are killing it. And we've been patiently waiting for you to join us too. So come on in. Link is in the show notes to join. Okay. If you have questions, you need some answers, you know where to find me, fill out that application, and we will be in cahoots to get you to that Restful Rich level, baby. I have also started a new series on YouTube for Mondays called Mic Drop Mondays, which I am dropping all of my ideas, thoughts, opinions on misconceptions that I see not only about mindset and manifestation and emotional and spiritual intelligence, but also life, baby. Just life. We're going to dive into it. We are diving into it. Episode 1 of the series is already out now. If you haven't checked it out, do it. And if you aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay? Be sure and share this episode with one of your best friends who needs to understand how they can shift their reality in a moment's time, because that's what we're getting into today. The beautiful, incredible, most powerful principles in manifestation, the law of assumption. This comes largely from Neville Goddard. He is the one who has this core idea that what you assume to be true, regardless of your current reality, hardens into fact with this law. We hear about the law of assumption not as much as we do about the law of attraction, but in my opinion, the law of assumption is the law in manifestation that truly takes the cake. This is the basis for any and all things that are brought to fruition, and we're going to get into it today. The core concepts of the law of assumption are your identity and your beliefs, right? Which those are your assumptions. They create your reality. It has zero to do with your effort, your circumstances, or your past, because let's be so fucking for real. You could have the same two people in the exact same circumstance and one person excels and the other one doesn't. It's straight up because of their beliefs and identity, which are assumptions. Your specific assumptions are your blueprint, and the reality is the reflection. Okay. If you look at everything through rose-colored lenses, like everything is an opportunity for you, everything is as beautiful as it possibly can be, everything is just so magnificent and wonderful, your reality starts to shape into that, bringing you more beautiful, rose-colored, amazing things, right? I've talked to you all before about how your circumstances are controlled by you as well, right? Like if you are in a life reality timeline where you do not like your circumstances, number one, that's proof that you already are a master manifester because you created those circumstances. Even if they're shit, sorry to burst your bubble, but you created them. And I've said this before, and I've had people push back on that and say, well, I didn't manifest, getting cheated on by my husband and having to be a single mom of 13 kids under the age of 13. So you're fucking wrong. I'm not. I, obviously, we can't control what other people do, but we do control our realities and our circumstances in there. So I didn't control the fact that my dad died and 6 months later my mom committed suicide, but the how I responded created my circumstances through that. Like I've shared here before, I could have easily let that spiral me into the depths of the end of myself because I was, 25 years old. I like there was a lot going on in my life. I was relatively young in age wise, but I've always been very mentally and emotionally and spiritually mature. And I could have easily let that be my entire narrative for the rest of my life. Like I am this way because of what happened to my parents and how it affected me and blah, blah. No, I chose the opposite of I let it light a fire under my ass to truly start living for a living and to actually make something worthwhile for me and my loved ones in this lifetime, right? Because your assumptions are your blueprint for everything. And this is why people say, like, what they say about assumptions, they make an ass out of you and me. If you look at the assumption as worst case scenario, right? So if you have the assumption that people want to pay you and people want your business, you will have that. If you have the assumption that no one gives a shit about what you have to say and no one is ever going to buy the thing that you are selling, they won't. If you think that people can't afford you or people will never be able to pay you top dollar, they won't. If you believe and you assume that money flows to you easily, it does. And I already can hear the naysayers go, well, that's toxic positivity. Why in the fuck does everything have to be so polarizing? Wanting to change your life and changing your thoughts doesn't have to be fucking toxic. And I already know that you all don't think that because if you are listening to this podcast and you think that, why are you here? Please leave. Hey, I'm interrupting our interaction right now to let you know of some new things that have been birthed over the past month. First is my new 30-day guide to becoming restfully rich. It is the restful rich identity shift that has got to happen in order to become restfully rich. And it is available for you for only $11. What are you actually waiting for? Get your hands on this. It's going to change your life. It is 30 days of intentional embodiment practices that are going to get you to your restful, rich identity so much more efficiently. The next beautiful, incredible creation that I have birthed for you is my Fall in Love with Your Ordinary Life free guide that you can download today as well. No matter the season that you're in, you are able to step into a completely different identity. And that is why I've created these two incredible new things for you to have, to consume, to implement, and to honestly see your life change from within. So let's get back to it. Like that is not the vibe in this space of the world, this space of the podcast world, the space of my world. That is such bullshit. Okay. That is an assumption. You assuming that things can be toxic, that guess what? They fucking will be. Okay. If your current reality says otherwise, if your current reality is that people are coming to you with price objections, if money doesn't feel easily in your space, that reality is also what you have assumed it to be. So, beautiful news. You get to change that by your assumptions, by your thoughts and your beliefs. And the real mechanism here of what's actually happening is it's not about thinking positively, okay? It's about embodiment. You are always operating from a self concept. How you perceive yourself to be, how you perceive things to happen to you, how you perceive others treat you is exactly how you operate. I am the woman who struggles to sign clients, or I am the woman who is always fully booked. Two very different assumptions, two very different outcomes, but you are the decider. Your nervous system and your subconscious mind, they organize your actions, your perceptions, and your opportunities to match that identity. This is why you have heard me say, you don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you are. So if you are someone that thinks that life is hard for you, life is going to continue to be hard for you. The difference between assumptions and affirmations is an affirmation is just repeating a word. It is just affirming something. An assumption is what is true to you. So I can affirm money loves me, but my assumption is that money is really hard to make. The assumption is going to be the thing that rules the roost, not the affirmation. This is why I have such an issue with affirmations, because yes, it is very easy to say words. It is a totally different thing to get your nervous system and your subconscious mind on the same wavelength of the assumption that you are trying to assume and make your reality. So you can say all day long that I make $20,000 months. But if your internal state is always throwing up signals to you of that feels impossible, the assumption wins every single time, no matter what. So the mirror principle here is that reality isn't something that you fix, it's something that you read. Your external world is a mirror showing you your dormant identity. So if you're sitting here thinking, well, oh my God, I've worked so hard and I've put in all this blood, sweat, and tears, and I have nothing to show for it. Your dormant identity is telling you that you aren't worthy of a restful way of receiving. Your unconscious expectations are also what your external world is mirroring. So if your expectation of selling your service and someone saying that's too much for me, that assumption is going to win every time, because that's an unconscious expectation that you're already coming to a conversation with the expectation of they're not going to be able to afford this. They're not going to say yes because of money. If your external world is showing you that people are always out to get you, they're always triggering you, they're always coming at you, that's your emotional baseline of being someone who gets attacked. So instead of asking yourself, like, why isn't this working? You need to ask yourself, what would I have to believe is true for me for it to already be done? And that's the shift here. A way that you can actually use this, like a practical, real life, everyday, take this with you from this episode. There's a few things here. But I really want to give you something tangible, because I know a lot of times, especially women like me who are high achieving, ambitious, and high functioning, we like to have a little bit of an implementation process, if you will. And I provide implementation stuff all the time for everything that I coach on. You don't just hear me talk with no actionable steps, right? Like there's always something in there that you can take with you and apply for yourself directly. And the first thing I want you to do is decide the identity, not the goal. I don't need you to decide that $20,000 months is your goal, right? I want it to be an identity shift of I'm the woman who effortlessly receives $20,000 months, right? Then to solidify that assumption, you're going to have to normalize it daily. Not convincing, but familiarizing yourself with it. Speak from that identity. Sell from that identity. Move like it is already your baseline. Okay? We're going to also collapse any kind of contradictions that are happening. So if you notice yourself over-explaining, this is where the self-awareness piece becomes crucial, because you have got to know how you tick. So if you're in the middle of a sales conversation, or creating a piece of content, or writing a new sales page, or wanting to redo your offer suite or whatever, and you notice yourself over-explaining, hesitating on a sell, or doubting your pricing, that is you stepping out of the assumption. And instead of fixing that action, you return to it. That's not who I am anymore. That's what I say. That's not who I am anymore. That's not my reality anymore. That's past me. You want to live in the end. Okay. Neville actually taught this heavily, that feel and operate as if it's already done. You've heard me say it because we learned from those who have come before us. Act as if, feel as if. This is very different from spend as if. Okay. This is why it's so annoying whenever people are like, oh my God, well, okay, let me just become a millionaire. I'm going to start spending like a million. I'm going to buy that fucking Maserati. No one is saying to do that, you ignorant asshole. We're talking about feeling and operating as if it's already done. Very fucking different. Just say you don't get it. Okay. Just say you don't get it and move on. This isn't fake. It's not delusional. It's not disconnected in delusion. It's grounded certainty. You're moving as if you already have those $20,000 months. You're moving as if everyone that you speak to is biting at the bit on how to make it work to work with you. You're cleaning up your standards and you aren't chasing anymore. You let people move into your world because you assume that they are going to make it happen. You're allowing them to flex their own manifestation muscle at that point. The part that most people really avoid is the law of assumption does require some things. And this is where you start to really retrain yourself and start to rewire those neural pathways, because it's a not a long game. I don't want to say that, but it is an intentional game where you have to let go of your current evidence. Right? You have to stop needing proof before you embody it. You have to stop looking at past experiences as proof that what you are desiring can't happen for you. You have to hold your identity even when the reality hasn't caught up yet. Because here's what happens: we shift a lot quicker than reality does. Not all the time, but that's kind of how it works. That's why the manifestation formula is be the embodiment and the assumption, do the action piece, and then you have it. This is the most important part, and this is how reality catches up. You don't need to keep checking, is it working yet? Oh my God, let me look and see if it's magically appeared in my bank account today, which can happen, but we don't need to be always looking over our shoulder to see if it's come yet. You have to decide, like, this is who I am, period. This is my reality, period. There is no other option. You can't keep having one foot in and one foot out of being so ready to assume this new identity, but also saying, well, I'm going to keep having these habits that I just like, or I'm going to keep feeling really uncomfortable talking about me and my offer and my business, or anything like that, right? Like, you don't need to be half in, half out. Be completely unavailable for this assumption, okay? The law of assumption, for how I teach specifically, is restfully rich is an identity. It's not a result, right? We don't do all this shit and then become restfully rich. We are restfully rich and then our reality catches up to it. You don't earn those $20,000 months or whatever the dollar amount is. I'm just throwing 20,000 out there. But you become the woman who receives $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, $1,000,000 a month, whatever. And then you start to see that your standards rise. Your energy stops leaking. Your offers start landing different for people that you maybe have assumed weren't your people, but they really were. But your assumption kept them from being your people. Your content starts to shift. You start to get some life back into the thing that you created that you was so passionate about. You aren't manifesting what you want. You are confirming who you believe you are. And that, my friends, is how you use the law of assumption to your benefit. This is something that I teach my private clients. This is something that I am talking about and teaching and kind of beating into your brain inside of Restfully Rich, because when you do the identity, when you change your assumptions, your reality has no other option but to start making itself appear exactly how it is you desire it to. And that's the fucking formula. All this other bullshit, all this other fluff, all this other to do and Rolodex of things that you've got to get done, you've got to make because so and so and blah, 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 right? Like, all of that stops whenever you truly start applying the law of assumption in a way that's going to work for you. And sure, you can do it on your own. No one said you can't. But when you have someone who knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about, is a pro at this, has mastered this law and multiple other laws, it gets to happen for you even quicker and more efficiently because you have proximity to that master, aka me. I'll see you on the inside. No more messing around. Imagine what your life can look like in 4 months and ask yourself, what is the cost of staying exactly where I am? Is it really worth it? Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, is it worth staying exactly where you are when you could be living an entirely different timeline and reality in just 4 short months? You know the answer to that question, and you know where to find me. Bye. I'm so grateful that you tuned in today. If this episode activated something in you, share it with a bestie who's also ready to become limitless. And don't forget to leave a review to help more people find this space. Wanting more? Get on my email list and subscribe to my YouTube channel for exclusive downloads, mindset shifts, and behind-the-scenes magic that I only share there. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, keep trusting the pull, honoring your energy, and manifesting your most abundant life.